Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films. That came out weird. I don't know why. You know what? I'm off my game today. Welcome back to Delicious in Dungeon. The other thing that probably didn't come out very weird. It's just I felt like I like hiccuped a bit while I did that. Not actually. I mean, I don't know. Look, today's a different day. Normally when I record Delicious in Dungeon, I record it with all the rest of my shows that I normally do. However, the episode of The Sopranos that I had to do was really long. So something had to get pushed. So I'm recording today. I'm recording Delicious in Dungeon on a different day. So I'm completely out of whack. I completely forgot too. Like I was going to wear a different shirt. Because normally I wear black shirts on filming days. But I was just wearing a different shirt. I just didn't think about it. And suddenly I was like, oh yeah, I guess I better do that. So welcome back. I am way off my game, but we are back with Delicious in Dungeon. Last time around, we had stewed cabbage / orcs, where basically we didn't eat the orcs, first of all. We ate with the orcs, because we tended to Senshi's vegetable gardens, which were on the backs of dirt golems. And then we were going to go trade with a merchant who was pretty terrible. Like, that guy was like, get out of here with your vegetables and your foods and stuff. It's like, that dude was a terrible merchant. Like, that is not how you do that, you know? That's not how you do that. You're supposed to, you know, like, look, I watch Spice and Wolf, you know? Like, you look at that, that's some good product right there, you know? But, anyway. But then the orcs came, killed him, and then captured the team, and then we got some lore, basically, on the struggles between humanity and orcs, and the fact that the orcs are here is all because of the dragon, and we swore we were able to make bread, you know, we were able to literally break bread with them, and then we swore to kill the dragon so that the orcs could return to their village, so yeah, that's pretty much where we left off. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Delicious in Dungeon. Here we go. Alrighty. Man, how do you think of this stuff? Like, it's so weird, like, how we got from treasure to sorbet, you know? Because it was treasure that was actually bugs that we made into bug food made of bugs, that was then made into holy water, that was then frozen by ghosts to become sorbet. Like, how did... Like, I'm looking back, it's like, how did we get here? Who thinks of that? Who like, because the other stuff, like, okay, how would you make, you know... I don't know, how would you make, you know, ham and vegetables? How would you make these actual things? You know, how would you make bread and stuff? Although the bread last episode was just bread. You know? Or how do you make a stew, and how do you do that with monsters and stuff like that? It's like all of these different things. How do you do these things? But then it's just like, why would you ever think, how do you make sorbet? Oh boy. Man, I feel bad for the other group. They're dead. I guess they'll get better. So, again, there's the whole thing of the body collectors, the corpse collectors. So, do you literally have to wait until, like, I guess you don't respawn, so is your body taken, and then is it healed, and then maybe, like, a sorcerer, maybe a mage, like, heals the wounds that you had, and then takes your ghost and puts you back in? Because there's also zombies. Maybe? I guess that's it. Maybe, like, if it doesn't happen fast enough, you just stay permanently dead. Heck, that zombie that we saw in the flashback, maybe the ghost possessing that was that guy. Did we ever think about that? I don't know. Like, I have no idea how the mechanics of death work in this show, but there's also a part of me that thinks I shouldn't overthink it and just accept it, you know? It's entirely possible that Kabru and Rin and that gang are all gonna be fine. So it's so weird too, because we spent a few minutes with that other team. Yeah, we spent like 4-ish minutes, maybe 5-ish minutes with that team. And I was like, oh man, it's so weird, like seeing another team that has like money and supplies, you know? Because that was the whole thing, is at the beginning of this, we lost basically everything. We lost basically everything because of the dragon. Because they were spelled away because of the dragon. Meanwhile, here's other adventurers that, you know, they go far into the dungeon, but then they come back, you know? But they ended up dying because of the treasure bugs. All those treasure bugs just killed them. They didn't have because they don't have a mollusk in a sword to warn them. Which I like that Kensuke, our sword mollusk, I like that he does, like, it is kind of looking out for Leos. Like, that is really funny. And him, like, getting more and more affectionate with it is funny, so. But yeah. And then we ate bugs. Slimy yet satisfying. I mean, it's true that it's like, you know, it's amazing that it took 5 episodes to get to that, actually, you know? The fact that it's like, oh, hey, you know, bugs. Like, yeah, that's a good one. Like, I might be more inclined to think of that before I think of eating monsters, you know? But yeah, and then we had the ghosts. Which it's an interesting thing, is kind of the thing that we can't properly deal with, or at least kind of. They're very hard to deal with, these ghosts. And you need very specific magical power like Fallon does. So, and I like that because, you know, I've said in this show before, like, I've kind of joked, like, oh, well, Marcel is no Freeren, you know? But in a sense, it's like, yeah, she seems to be more of the apprentice. Well, she's no Fern either. But she seems to have been more of the apprentice mage to Fallon. So yeah, so Fallon was definitely the stronger mage of them. And just, you know, she had a level head, she could figure things out, you know. Heck, that's why she was able to do that spell and get them away from the dragon, you know. She was so incredible. And now they don't have her. But I like that. I like how the conclusion of this episode is, you know, we all got to step up, you know? We all got to step up. It's not that it's like, oh, well, we would never need her again. And so it's like, well, you probably will need her, but it's just like, it's good to step up. Try to, you know, do what you can. Don't just, you know, roll over and die because you don't have her, you know? And so, yeah. And so, yeah, Senshi using the holy water is very interesting. So, the multicultural holy water. That's a fascinating thing. I really like that. I love when... I love, like, mixing ancient religions and mythologies. Like, you know, like Indiana Jones will do that and stuff. I love doing that just because it's funny, you know? It's just like, well, you know, the Egyptians believed in these gods, and the Greeks believed in these gods, and, you know, the Mesopotamians had their own gods, and obviously there's, you know, the Christian gods and stuff, but there's also, you know, there's Jesus, but there's also, you know, just in Judaism where they don't believe it, there's also, you know, the Muslims and stuff. Like, but I just love, like, let's just pile all of this on top of each other and just see what happens. Like, There's something about that I just really like. Probably just because I have a bachelor's degree in history, so I just like the history of all of these different cultures and stuff. So in my head, it's just like, yeah, let's do that. Let's see what happens when we sort of mix these all, because you know, everyone says their religion is the one true one. And it's like, I like the Indiana Jones approach of maybe they're all real, you know. At least, like, when it comes to the fiction and stuff, I don't know. I'm not saying, you know, I don't know. I believe in the universe. But I don't know. It could be possible. That's also the Doctor Who thing of, like, if there is some sort of a religion, it probably does actually exist. Like, I mean, the Doctor has fought, you know, the devil, but then he's also fought, like, Sutek being an ancient Egyptian deity from a planet of ancient Egyptian deities. You know, it's just like, it's like, let's just mix all that together. So I like that it's like, it's holy water. Well, who's holy water? Everyone's holy water, you know? Or, that was the other thing with, the Castlevania show, which was also on Netflix, was they had this thing where they had, like, this cross weapon thing, and it's like, oh yeah, it was made in India, and Sypha was like, well, when that guy, did he die in India? Because Indian vampires are not going to understand why you're putting a cross in their face. It's like, oh yeah, well, they wouldn't believe in that. And it's like, well, no, if you just jam a geometric shape in their face, it confuses their eyes. So it's like, oh, that's an interesting explanation. Because, yeah, I mean, it's a good point. It's like, what if you have, it's like, that's the whole thing about vampires, is like, they have that sort of connection to religion and stuff, but it's like, well, what if they're from a different religion? I don't know. Anyway, so that was clever. I love the holy water, and, you know, like Castlevania, I love that he ties it up and he just starts whacking them with it. Like, that was really funny, you know? That was really, really funny, just going around with a whip, just whacking them with holy water. Like, that was funny. And then just the fact that then became Sorbet, because, the ghosts, you know, they start to freeze things, so it just froze the holy water into Sorbet. And it's just like, that's so stupid. Who thinks of that? Why do you think of that? Why? How did we get there? You know? What kind of a mind goes from treasure that's actually bugs to holy water sorbet? You know, it's just like the goofiest thing ever, but it was so great. And then at the end, the whole thing of, you know, like, if Fallon hadn't been eaten, we wouldn't be eating sorbet. It's just like, what? It's like, what are you talking about? And it's just like, but I like that moment where he's like, Fallon would understand. And it's like, well, there's a positive and negative side to everything. It's just like, it's like, boy, like, them, and in particular, Leos is a mess without Fallon. So, he's got to get better. So, and we did also see in the flashbacks the other two members of the party that ditched. Basically, they ditched after the dragon in episode 1. And yeah, I completely forgot about that, because we have, you know, many characters that are in the intro, that they show in the intro, and some of them I was like, who are these guys, you know? Or like, are we ever going to see them? And it's like, okay, and they might still come back later. So now I'm going to really be paying attention to the intro, to all those characters that show up, so. But yeah, really, really good episode, and I'm curious to see where we are going from here. But that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my delicious and dungeon reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later. My nose is acting up.